This video will look at innovation and the 5 C's. Now, this is just a mnemonic. It's just simply a way of remembering 5 important issues associated with innovation. So we're going to look at 5 important issues, and they all begin with the letter C. So let's see how it works. Exploring and developing new technologies and new ways of doing things. That's essentially what innovation is. It's the exploration of new ideas, new concepts, and applying them in products and services which are new to the customer, or to the consumer, but at the same time are acceptable to the consumer. So it extends the market, or it actually introduces a new market. Generally speaking, it extends the market because the products are related to previous generations of products. In other words, the innovation takes an existing product and adds some new functionality or some new design, some new style change to that product. So that's essentially what innovation is. It's vital for the future viability of an organisation. Organisations, if they don't innovate, they stagnate, and eventually they will go out of business. If they continuously make the same product year in, year out, eventually somebody in the market will come up with a new idea, a variation on that product, which will be more acceptable to the customers. It'll have new facilities, new functions, it'll look different, it'll whatever. The point is, it'll be more acceptable to the consumers, and as a consequence, the company that did not innovate will suffer. And that's really what we know about the development of companies, the development of markets. We know that markets change over time. It's a key to long-term success. Without innovation, companies, as I said, will stagnate. Their revenues will fall. Customers will become tired of the product. They will become bored. Perhaps it's a product that customers have to purchase, what economists will call inelastic in demand. But at the same time, customers are not happy. It's the same product over and over. And as soon as a new product comes on the market, a new product in the sense it is the old product but with variations. In other words, it has been innovated. When that new product comes on the market, it'll replace the old one. And the initial company, the one that did not innovate, will suffer, and the new company, the one that did innovate, will gain the market. Chances are. A lot of this, of course, is really speculation. It could be a company innovates and kills itself in the process. Innovates in the sense it introduces a lot of new concepts and new ideas related to a product, but the customers simply don't like it. They like the old one. And that can happen as well. So simply because a company is innovative doesn't mean it's going to be successful. It could be innovative and highly unsuccessful. It could go under. It can go bankrupt. It's tried a lot of changes to products, but the changes were not successful. And we can all think of products that have changed over the years, and the change was in the shops. Perhaps we saw this product with the changes, and then suddenly it's no longer available. In other words, it failed. That particular innovation was not successful. Now, innovation involves exploring and developing new technologies and new ways of doing things. That's what innovation is. It's, as I said earlier, it's the exploration of new ideas and new ways of combining resources and coming up with new designs and new functionalities and adding them to existing products. So we take an existing product and extend what it can do, and we improve its appearance. That's innovation. Innovation is important for the long-term viability of the organisation, as I said earlier. If it doesn't, then the organisation will suffer. Now, this idea of the 5 C's, as I said, this is really a mnemonic. It looks at 5 words, all beginning with the letter C, and shows how they're important in the context of innovation. So the first one is capability. The capability is simply the ability to innovate. Some company may have an idea about an innovation, but it hasn't got the capacity to do it. It's not sure. Perhaps it needs more research, or it needs more resources, or it needs more skills on the part of the workforce. It needs something. So simply having a good idea doesn't mean it's going to be successful. The company must have capability to implement the ideas. So the ideas must be enacted. They must be put in place. The second C is culture. Innovation requires a supportive culture. And by that I mean the customers must welcome the change, the customers must want the change, the customers must be amenable to change. Sometimes customers like a product. It's old-fashioned, it's always been like that, and perhaps the customers don't want to change from it. Perhaps the customers want that old-fashioned product. They like it and they're not going to change. They're loyal to the product. So in order for an innovation to be successful, the customers must have that state of mind that enables them to purchase it, enables them to welcome the innovation, to want the innovation. So there must be a culture of acceptance of new ideas. If that doesn't exist, the innovation will fail. There must be cash and recognition. The innovation must be capable of being resourced. It must be recognised as having potential. So investors, for example, looking at a new idea and thinking about investing in it, they must see its potential. They must think it will be successful. Otherwise they won't invest. And if they don't invest, there won't be the resources to develop it. In other words, this idea of number 3 and number 1 are related. In fact, they're all related, 1, 2 and 3. But 1 and 3 are particularly related. If the company hasn't got the resources, the cash, to invest in perhaps machinery or training workers or developing the market in some way, if it hasn't got the resources to do that, then it hasn't got the capability. And it won't happen. The innovation will not take place. And of course, to get those resources, there must be recognition that the idea is a good idea and that the idea will be accepted by the customers. Customer orientation. Innovative endeavours must target customers' requirements. The innovation must have the customer as central to the whole process. Customer requirements must be clearly understood and targeted in the innovative process. If the customer is not, then all the efforts are in vain because the company is targeting something else. Well, that something else is not going to buy the product. It's customers who are going to buy the product. So target the customers. The customers will then make the purchases and the product, or the innovative product, will be successful. So it's important that the customer is borne in mind right throughout the whole process of innovation. If they lose sight of the customer, then the innovation, the chances are it's doomed to failure. So they must target the customer and the customer's requirements. And the fifth one, well, cut losses. If market conditions change, innovators should be capable of stopping the development. It's often the case that people think they have a good idea for some sort of innovation, And whilst they're developing it, the market changes, or something changes. The idea is no longer good, objectively good, but they still believe in it. They're committed. It's emotional. They're committed to the idea. They can't stop. They still believe that it's going to work. In a sense, they're stubborn. They've had this idea. They want to implement the idea. They believe if it's put in front of the customers, they will purchase the item, or they will acquire the item. But the market may have changed. Customers may have changed. Circumstances may have changed. Lots of things may change. And by the time they put it on the market, customers don't want it. And yet they're adamant that they should carry on. And in carrying on, they are wasting resources. They're wasting time, they're wasting resources. They're wasting cash, personnel, machinery, research departments, marketing initiatives. They're wasting everything. So they must be capable of cutting it. If they think or have doubts about the product, cut it. Walk away, do something else. So these are seen as the 5 C's of innovation. They all begin with the letter C, so it's a mnemonic. It helps us to remember that there are 5 C's. Capability, culture, cash, customer orientation, and cut losses. And these are seen as 5 important issues when considering innovation, particularly at the startup stage. So that concludes this short video. Let's leave it at that and say thank you for watching.